I move the Judiciary, Finance, and Civil Law Division report for House File 8.
Okay, that motion is before us. Any discussion? Seeing none, then all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Representative Wilson.
I move that House File 8 as amended be recommended to be placed on the general register.
Okay, that motion is before us. Where is Representative Pinto? I assumed he was here. I talked to him.
Well, this looks like we can't take the bill up. We're done for the night.
Oh, I can present.
That's not him.
I'm sure I'll do just fine.
There he is.
Well, Representative Pinto, welcome to the committee. We've we passed two motions already.
That was
Care to know the status of your bill?
not going well.
Okay, good.
We passed two, seriously.
Fair enough. That was.
No, what we're seriously where we're at is we adopted the motions to put the bill appropriately before us, and we're at the point where the author explains the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I might ask the pages, maybe I actually don't have a copy of the amendment that's in, that will be in front of you. I know that there is an author's amendment. And as we do that, I'll just remind members, thank you, Mr. Chair. House File 8, the bill before you is the bill, thank you, Madam Chair, is the bill for criminal background
Do
checks.
you want to take the amendment and get the bill in the order that
If,
you'd
yes,
like?
if,
I think that would be more appropriate at this point.
thank you.
Representative Olson, you want to move the amendment?
I'll move the A21 amendment.
Okay, the motion is before us, and if Representative Pinto, if you could explain the amendment?
Certainly, Mr. Chair. Members, the A21 puts the bill in substantially the form that was in when it passed off the House floor, this proposal, when it did as part of the Public Safety and Judiciary budget last spring. And so it simply makes some conforming changes to substantially match to the language that passed the House.
Okay, so that motion is before us. Any discussion? Seeing none, then all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carried. Now the bill as amended is before us. Representative Pinto.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And again, so members, House File 8 is the bill to require criminal background checks on the transfer of certain firearms in Minnesota. We've discussed, I think members are very familiar with this issue. A reminder that we are have an epidemic at which Americans, Minnesotans die from guns at rates far higher than any country in the world we wish to compare ourselves to. At the same time, there are, as we know, millions of Americans, hundreds of thousands of Minnesotans who use firearms responsibly for hunting, for sport, as a hobby, et cetera. And members, we can do more to keep guns out of the hands of people who have demonstrated themselves to be dangerous, and at the same time uphold the rights of those many, many Minnesotans. And the two bills before you, both House File 8 and House File 9 that you'll be hearing, do exactly that. And this is a bill to simply require that when a firearm is transferred, that we know the person receiving it is eligible to receive it, is not a violent felon or other category that is already under our law prohibited from possessing a firearm.
And Representative Pinto, being that you're before the Ways and Means Committee, if you'd comment on the fiscal question.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. That's an unusual point, members. There is no cost to this bill. The reason it is before Ways and Means is because it was referred to committees under the previous system in 2019, under which it went to Ways and Means, then to committees below Ways and Means. It had to come out that same way, but if the bill had gone out this session, it would not be in front of Ways and Means because there is no cost to it. So you can let that guide your discussion as the Ways and Means Committee.
Okay, and I was just informed before we go to discussion, Mr. Sullivan, was there a technical problem that you picked up?
Mr. Chair, and
It's
members,
with the amendment, I understand.
I believe so. The amendment updated one of the effective dates in the second engrossment of House File 8 on page 4, line 3. It changed the effective date from August 1st, 2019 to August 1st, 2020, but that date appears also in the second engrossment on page 12, line 5. So I think, if possible, and Mr. Marks just found it also on page 8, line 27, and that's also not in the amendment that was adopted. So to update all the dates to 2020, there would need to be a change on line 12.5 and on line 8.27.
Maybe if you can make sure that's written down so that committee clerk gets that for the committee report. I think we've got it, but just in case. Okay, that's a technical amendment then, so I'll move the amendment. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Any discussion on the bill? Representative David.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Could you kind of give us more time to say no? Could you give us more time to say no? You're awfully fast on the no. Please.
You talking about the last vote?
Yeah, very fast. You don't let us say no.
I've been just listening to the minority lead. He wanted to be out of here early, so, but I'll take your advice to heart. Yes, okay. My intent wasn't, I kind of knew the direction of the bill, but at any rate, you make a good point. So any discussion beyond the request by Representative Davids? Representative Garofalo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, Representative Pinto, just to help members make a basis for the decision of this bill, certainly it's a fiscal committee, but is it your personal belief that the right to own a firearm is tied to being a member of a militia, or do you have an individual right to own a firearm?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Representative Garofalo. So, Representative Garofalo, as you're I think aware, the court, U.S. Supreme Court under the Heller case made very clear that restrictions such as this are quite consistent with the Second Amendment, and this sort of proposal is in use, these provisions in use all around the country. And so I think members can feel very comfortable in approving the same sort of provisions that are in use in states with Republican legislatures, Republican governors, et cetera.
Representative Garofalo.
Mr. Chairman, Representative Pinto, answers exactly like that are why people like me get suspicious of bills like this. Because it's a pretty cut and dry answer. I mean, the Supreme Court has ruled that you have an individual right to own a firearm. It would seem that this would be a valid thing to affirm, to say, yes, I recognize an individual's right to own a firearm. But that's the problem. We have one major political party in this country that thinks it's their prerogative and their right to tie that individual right to being a membership in a militia, which is an assault on my and every single individual's Second Amendment rights. It's a ridiculous proposition. It'd be like suggesting the First Amendment only applies if you own a newspaper. It's silly. Representative Pinto, do you have the votes on the House floor to pass this bill?
Representative Pinto.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, Representative Garofalo, I hope that we'll earn your support, and with that, I'm quite confident that, with that and many others, that we will.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Representative Pinto, hell no, not a chance, no way. Mr. Chairman, I would request a roll call on the House File 8 and ask that members vote no.
Okay, request for roll call is noted. Any further discussion? Seeing none then, the clerk will take the roll.
Representative Carlson,
Aye.
Representative Olson,
Yes.
Representative Garofalo,
No.
Representative Albright. No. Representative Bernardi,
Aye.
Representative Davids,
No.
Representative Dabney,
Aye.
Representative Driscousky,
No.
Representative Eklund,
No.
Representative Hamilton,
No.
Representative Hansen,
Yes.
Representative Hausman,
Yes.
Representative Hertas, Representative Hornstein,
Yes.
Representative Kresha,
No.
Representative Liebling,
Yes.
Representative Lilly,
Yes.
Representative Long,
Yes.
Representative Mariani,
Yes.
Representative Marquardt,
No.
Representative Nelson,
Yes.
Representative Newer,
Yes.
Representative Pulowski,
Yes.
Representative Hoppy,
Yes.
Representative Schumacher,
No.
Representative Scott,
No.
Representative Torkelson,
No.
Representative Vogel,
No.
Representative Wagenius.
Yes.
The motion carries 16 to 13. So bill is passed.